They request millions of dollars every year to hire new people, but Metro Parks says they still can't fill those positions. Good evening, I'm Carrie Sharp.
And I'm Vicki Yates. Council members say frustration is growing as departments request even more taxpayer money every year with little to nothing to show for it.
Investigative reporter Levi Ismail first brought you the story of how this impacts all of us taxpayers, but he's also learning about what else stands in the way of hiring even more workers.
Well, we know that money is always going to be a factor in all this, but we've met people now who tell us that they would work for free if it meant having fully staffed facilities for Nashville to enjoy. They care about what happens to the Parks Department, and yet they've been told their application is one of possibly many that haven't been processed even months later.
I love the parks. I believe in the parks. I grew up in the parks.
The more we heard, the more we thought it's hard to imagine a more qualified candidate for the job.
I've worked in parks before. I've worked at golf courses.
The man in front of us asked if we could conceal his identity because he's still waiting on an answer, months after applying to work at one of Metro Nashville's golf courses. So you first approached them in April?
Correct.
We're in July.
I was under the impression that just fill out this paperwork and we're going to get you to work right away because we need people right now.
And yet, here we are. Metro Parks told us they're struggling to hire just like any other department, but the difference is we've learned how understaffed golf courses could leave more than $500,000 on the table every season. Money that goes straight to the city's general fund. So you would think that would be the first order of business the day after our findings. But that's where you're wrong.
All in favor? Aye. Motion passes.
That was the Metro Parks Board approving a raise for Director Monique Odom. Now, just to be clear, Metro Parks controls what they do with their budget, and that includes what they pay some of their staff.
I do get concerned that, okay, there's this pot of money here, and people aren't being hired, so where's that money going?
They've already increased pay for seasonal workers to at least $11 an hour, but they still advertise the position as paying just over $7 an hour, which Metro HR says may prevent some from applying.
So my recommendation is let's change the minimums because I think that does damage to our narrative as well.
According to Metro HR, Director Odom turned down this recommendation, at least for now. But remember, some people have already said they're willing to work with or without the pay bump. So you're comfortable with the $11 per hour?
I said I'd work for that, yes.
So if you have workers telling you they're ready, the question is what's really standing in the way of processing these applications and putting people to work? Well, in a statement, Parks told us that for a department their size, they're historically understaffed and underfunded. Right now, they only have one person processing applications in their HR department while others are on leave.
It's definitely frustrating.
Metro Council member Russ Bradford also serves as chair of the Parks Committee for City Council. So when was the first time you heard about hiring issues over at Metro Parks?
The first time I heard about it was during our budget hearings a couple weeks ago.
We've had a hard time filling vacancies.
That's Bradford in the back left corner, as Odom explained that she needed 14 new park police officers at a cost of just over $1 million, even though they were given $324,000 last year to hire 5 officers, which Bradford is about to find out they never did.
If we can't even fill the 5 positions you were budgeted last year, why should we spend $1 million for another 14?
Bradford says it's something of a trend with several Metro departments. They promise to hire with the money they're given, but have little to nothing to show for it.
How can we provide oversight? How can we, protect the taxpayers when we don't know what's going on, when these departments keep stuff from us?
But it's not the hiring issue that feels new. Bradford says it's what little has been done to fix the problem.
$11, there's most places, retail, even some fast food places are paying more than that.
While paying more could certainly entice new workers, some say they just need a chance.
In fact, I would volunteer for some opportunities just because I believe in the parks, believe it or not.
How soon would you be ready?
For what?
If they called you.
Right now.
Now, Metro Parks compromised by adding 7 new budgeted park officers as opposed to the 14 that they originally asked for.
Well, now comes the tough part, filling those positions.
Absolutely. They are actually working with Metro HR to talk about recruitment strategy and possibly adjusting pay rates for some of those positions.
All right. Thank you so much, Levi.